Well, hospital porters' pride and dignity stopped the New World Order. Welcome to Panwo TV and welcome to this investigation into the Nottinghamshire Roswell. Okay, let me give you a little bit of background over what me and Dan are doing today. This is the incident we're talking about, which I heard about first from Dan, but it was apparently covered in Nexus magazine, volume 4, number 6 in 1987, and I found out about it from my own copy of the Nexus electronic back issues on DVD-ROM. This is the article here. I've just copied it into Word. On the night of November the 12th, 1987, a freak storm or freak thunderbolt damaged a number of properties in the Kirby area, including one house that was almost destroyed. Mike West, who dealt with many of the insurance claims, will verify that this was no ordinary meteorological phenomenon. He told local residents, "This just doesn't make any sense. Every claim that I've dealt with in the last 26 years has been logical and reasonable, but this defies reason. It did not even travel in a straight line, as you'd expect with a thunderbolt following the line of least resistance. It zigzagged across the sky, and people even saw it dive down over the hills. It's as if the whole area was blanketed with electromagnetic radiation. Effects were felt over a wide area. Mansfield residents were rudely woken at 1:30 a.m. by a sound like an explosion." So we've got a time for it. It was about 1:30 in the morning in Mansfield, which is not far from where I am. I'm in Bingham, Nottinghamshire right now. I'm at a Staines place where she lives. We're actually going to travel to the area where we are, which is just a short few miles from here. Although this happened a long time ago. It happened 26 years ago, actually. In 1987. It's now 2013. So it's 26 years we're talking about now. And this is a common problem with these kinds of incidents, strange aerial phenomena. A very, very long time between the event happening and investigation beginning. In the case of Roswell, it was 30 years between the event happening in 1947 and 1977 when Jesse met Stan. Jesse Marcel approached Stanton Friedman, the original researcher of the Roswell incident. A local TV and video repairman working late at home that evening reported when the light suddenly dimmed and light bulbs started to pop in the house. That may refer to a surge on the power grid. Furthermore, the electrical trip switch blew. That's the circuit breaker down in the cellar. We got it. It's in the cellar in most houses, or in some places it's in a little box in the by the door and stuff like that. Next day, he was inundated with phone calls from individuals whose equipment had been damaged. Some suggested ball lightning was the cause of all this, but one old lady saw it flying straight towards her house, looping and double looping, performing other manoeuvres. So now we're talking about an unidentified flying object. Whatever it might be. I'm not saying it's anything from other places, but it's definitely an unknown object in the sky, something flying which can't be identified, hence the name. Another man watching from a distance described how the sky suddenly became bright red. The explosion was heard and felt over an area of 7 to 8 square miles, throwing some people out of bed. Somewhat more energy is required for a standard manifestation of ball lightning, one is tempted to conclude. This is an incredible, enormous amount of energy we're talking about here. An explosion, people being thrown out of bed over a vast area. So we're talking about something almost nuclear in proportion, in its yield. An enormous amount of electrical energy put onto the... This is what we're talking about. We're talking about something almost... almost like a nuclear bomb, that kind of yield. Throwing energy out, electrical energy out, which caused surges on power grids, vast explosion, very loud noise, people thrown out of bed. Quite something. Residents witnessed an object zigzagging very slowly over Mansfield, whining a noise as if it were in trouble. 2 more objects were subsequently observed coming down near Blidworth, close to Sherwood Forest. According to the insurance claims, objects came from 3 different directions, collided in midair just south of Mansfield, which is where we're going to be going. The UFOs were reporting headed towards Kirby when one of them seemed to encounter difficulty, apparently losing power and coming down in a large wood near Blidworth, which is where we're going to be. It appeared to bounce on impact, releasing a tremendous shockwave. This is someone who reported something to the... was reported to the insurance man. the guy doing the insurance. Losing power coming over a large wood near Blidworth. Yeah, that's it. Numerous persons reported structural damage to their property. Power lines collapsed. Curiously, meteorological reports confirmed there was no cloud, wind, rain or lightning active that night, resulting in a number of property damage claims not being met despite investigation. Other witnesses report of a still and cloudless night. Eyewitnesses describe a number of balls of white light streaking to the UFO as it descended near Annesley Hall, which stands on private grounds, hampering attempts to obtain further information. Now this is we now have two separate landing sites. Was there more than one objects that came to grief on the Earth's surface? That's the question. One of them supposedly near where we're going to be going in Thieves Wood. We may have a chance to visit the other landing site or crash site if possible. 2:15, 7 military helicopters, a troop carrying Chinook, Gazelles, Lynxes. These are military helicopters. Flew in low speed, Hank scanning the area with searchlights over Normanton, Sutton-in-Ashfield and Kirby. The police subsequently cordoned off the impact site and erected roadblocks that remained for several days. This is another feature of the standard crash retrieval. This happened at Bedouin Mountains, it happened at Roswell. Trees at the site are still badly incinerated and many are marked for removal. Well, we'll be seeing that. We'll go and one thing that me and Dan want to do most particularly is look at the trees and see, because they're like time capsules. They're like a record, or almost a written record of what happened. Hopefully there'll be tree rings we can count on stumps and things, so that we'll know. We'll be able to date the trees that are there now and see if they're some newer than others. The first impact of the object caused raising conflagration, so there may be signs of damages to the trees. Damages left in the wood were calculated to be made by an object 60 feet across. The trees were bent from the base to a height of 6 feet. In microwave fashion, pine cones were burned from the inside out. So we're talking about a large directed energy effect here, as was seen at 9/11 at the World Trade Center. The Hutchison effect, as Dr. Judy Wood has discovered. But this is peculiar. Hopefully it's to be expected if there's some large, like the electromagnetic pulse, an explosion that happened early on. It is a big sign. This seems to be the major feature of the incident: a large pulse, an electromagnetic explosion, loud noise, shockwave. That would fit if there was a large discharge of energy into the area which caused this damage to the trees. It sounds almost like they're talking about what happens to the crop in crop circles, the individual crop plants. This report is extremely interesting from a number of angles, especially as it involves intense electrical activity and nighttime emission phenomenon. The sightings of actual objects need to be treated with caution, as in common with most nighttime observations, it's highly likely that only light emission was actually observed, and thus the object or mass was assumed to be present. May not be the true situation. Well, that's just the problem. This Mansfield event may have been a secret military test. Well, this is a question what it was. This article speculates on what actually might be going on here. This is a question. It may have been a secret military test of advanced propulsion system, nighttime flight of 3 such operational craft, or a true alien UFO accident scenario. Perhaps it consisted of 3 separate Tesla railway plasma EM slugs. Well, that's another possibility, because maybe something connected with Nikola Tesla. John Hutchison, of course, tried to reproduce the experiments of Nikola Tesla, which is how he came about his Hutchison effect. Number of balls of white light streaking to the object as it descended could be, yeah, it's fireball stuff. It's just, this article just goes on speculating about various. It's hard to say anyway, but here's the details. Extracted from Nexus Magazine, Volume 4, Number 6, October-November 1997. So this is an early example. Nexus actually started in the mid-80s, which is, well, I think it was actually 1987 itself it started in Australia. They didn't hear about this case until 10 years later. Now there's several articles which came out, which Dan actually showed me. He actually presented to me. This one's gone. Oh, not found. Not found. That's strange. There's one from the BBC. Yeah, Nottingham features. This is an article dated. Where is it? There's an interview here with various people, various witnesses, which sounds interesting. I'll have to maybe look at this later when I come back, because I've got to. Well, I'll look at that later when I come back, because I have to unfortunately top up the battery on this camera before I go out. Because as you'll probably gather, I'm doing this before. Did a UFO crash in Hucknall? Now we have Hucknall is another nearby town. The alleged crash took place on November the 12th, 1987. Is that the same date as before? I think it was. Let me just double check the date of the given before. Check these dates match up. Yes, 12th of November, 1987. In fact, from reading through this article, yeah, we're talking about first-hand reports of military activity in the area of A16 known as Thieves Wood, which is where we're going to be going. And another road, people were stopped at their cars by a roadblock near Annesley. Now, according to Dan, Annesley is a very well-known UFO spot. Sorry, a well-known ghost spot, and we're going to be UFO hunting there. People were asleep in bed. The silence of the night shattered. Blah blah blah. Severe damage to buildings. One house even had its chimney knocked off. First-hand reports of military in the area. People were stopped in their cars. They could have told a helicopter came down. A regular bus driver on the A60 route recalls the time very well. And Dominic Beglin of East Midlands UFO Research held a public talk and discussion regarding the UFO crash. We'll have to maybe get in touch with him, I think. God knows how no one was killed. It was like the Blitz, someone said. Oh my goodness. Reports of ghosts, apparitions and strange sensations. But is that a cause or effect of what happened in 1987? It could be that whatever happened in 1987 maybe is what started off these hauntings, as John Keel pointed out. Very often you get UFOs are not separate from other paranormal phenomena. Very often the appearance of a UFO or a major UFO incident is accompanied by other strange activity as well. We have here a photograph of the alleged crash site with a little orb there, which we'll hopefully be seeing for ourselves. I do have a map and an aerial photography of what we're going to be doing and where we're going to be going. Now here is a map of the area. There's Thieves Wood there. Here's Annesley Hall, just there. And there's various other places, Kirby and Ashfield, Mansfield, and various other towns around here which you all know from the area. This basically talks about various woods, Annesley Hall, things like that. The scale's not good enough to show all the areas, but Nottingham is just south here and we're just east of Nottingham where I am now. Here's an aerial photograph which we'll be using more of. This is an aerial photograph of Thieves Wood. Hopefully there's some signs here which I can see, which I'll be discussing with Dan later. Some interesting signs. Well, so what happened? Well, initial speculation is hard to come by because, as I explained, no one ever actually saw anything, but they talk about military roadblocks, they talk about the police, they talk about army helicopters, things like that in the area for several days afterwards. Now that is obviously a red flag that something did happen that was more than just a lightning bolt. You wouldn't send in the military to deal with the impact of a lightning bolt, things like that, or even if it triggered a big forest fire or damage to houses. So we're looking at something that they were investigating or retrieving. Now, this could be, as the article suggests, some kind of new weapon that was being used, that has been tested, some kind of either electromagnetic weapon or a new aircraft or something. It's important to put it into context of the times because the times we were living. 1987, 26 years ago, we were living in a very different world then. The Cold War was sort of winding down then because Mikhail Gorbachev came to power in 1985 and he seemed to be trying to reform things to build up more and more trust and more contact and more cooperation with the West. a process which eventually led to the dissolution of the Soviet Union in the beginning of the 1990s, and the new Russia which we have today under Vladimir Putin and people like that. It's possible some kind of... So, I mean, one of the speculations this was a Russian weapon. It's unlikely. I don't think Gorbachev wasn't. The Soviet Union under Gorbachev was very different to previous premiers of the Soviet Union. As I said, Gorbachev was trying to end all that, and in fact, you know, rumour has it he's a member of the Rockefeller Foundation, and they engineered the end of the Cold War. Well, that's a big story. But anyway, it's unlikely to be Russian. It's probably one. If it's a secret weapon, it's one of ours. It's something British or American or Allied, you know, or Western or NATO rather. So it's a NATO weapon. That would explain again. It's something secret, but it's something that's not been declassified even to this day. We're told it was a helicopter that crashed down there. Another possibility, of course, this is a genuine extraterrestrial event, and we'll hopefully be gathering some evidence of that as the day goes on. If it is, then we're looking at a Roswell event. I mean, a Roswell is almost like a common noun now, and it's only a matter of time before the Oxford English Dictionary actually takes it on as a common noun. Of course, it's the name of the city of Roswell, but it refers to an event in which an extraterrestrial spacecraft comes to grief on the Earth's surface. It crashes and is secretly salvaged by the government. They set up roadblocks, send in the military, then cover it all up once they've got the evidence out. Now there's been many, contrary to popular belief, Roswell is not the only one of these. It's the most famous, but it's not the only one by far. There have been several dozen actually reported over the last century. They go back even before Roswell. There's an incident in several in this country, in England, and there's in the United States. The earliest goes back to 1897, and I've written an article called Pre-Roswell Roswells. I'll put a link in the description box which talks about that. There was an event in Gateshead, Tyne and Wear in 1940, an event in Brighton in 1955, whole list of them. I'll talk about that later with Dan. Anyway, I've got to top up the battery on the camera and then we'll get going. See you later. Hospital Porters, Pride and Dignity, stop the New World Order. Here's Thieves Wood. This is where we are. Now we've had to park over the road because I'll just show you where we are on the maps, which is here. There we are. Right, that's it. I'm here with Dan. Who you'll know Dan. Yeah, Dan, we've met up because we're both going to investigate this together, and we're going to go in and see if we can find any evidence of any untoward activity from 26 years ago. Okay, we've come a little way along here. This with Dan, and this is a road which is leading through the... I'll show you where we are on the maps. It's raining a bit, so this map will get soggy eventually, but it's not too bad now. Do you see that road's leading from the A tag there, down Thieves Wood Lane? That's where we're walking. We've come just a short distance down there. Now, what we've been told, according to this incident in 1987, it's actually the 12th of November 1987, so in a couple of weeks we'll be at the 26th anniversary of it. Dan, I think we should call this the Nottinghamshire Roswell, shouldn't we? Yeah, because that fits. I think that's a good name. I think we should call it that because I mean it does seem to be a Roswell type event. We're talking about a crash retrieval, and something has come down to Earth, and yeah, it's come down to the ground, and it's been secretly salvaged by the government, which is the definition of a Roswell. Common noun. That is so you can see that this is forestry stuff because the trees are planted in a straight line. Oh, do you see that there? It's like Rendlesham Forest.
Been planted, have they, like that?
Yeah, whether they were. One of the things we're going to have to definitely ascertain is the age of the trees, because we see these are the trees here. There's different types of trees. There's a silver birch there, and there's other types of trees. I mean, I wish we had Ellis Taylor or Scott Felton would know. He knows all about trees, about how old they are and how long they take to grow.
Could have bought iPad and Googled it.
Oh, it's yeah. See, that is a different type of tree because that's a kind of coniferous tree because it's got pine needles. And there's some broadleaf. See, some of them are shedding their leaves. So that's an evergreen. It's still green. See, that won't shed its pine needles. And it's raining a bit, unfortunately.
Put your beaker back in the bag, please.
But that's leading towards the A60 Nottingham Road. If there was some kind of salvage operation here, Roswell type salvage operation, a crash retrieval, then they would have used this road most likely.
Yeah, I'd have thought. Oh no, I've left my lighter at the car.
Just a moment. What's up?
You smoke, Sue.
What is it? So I'll just stop filming. Hold on. Dan, have you heard of Dr. Michael Saller? Oh, he's works with Stephen Bassett and people like that for the Disclosure Project, and he's talked about crash retrieval teams, about who they are, and he said very, very interestingly that that you get like a group of people, and funnily enough, they're selected from a very young age. They're often selected in childhood to join these crash retrieval teams because they have psychic powers. They are able to have telepathic contact with the aliens. And what happens is your family will get a lot of visits, probably be befriended by a military officer who will encourage the child to have a military career. Once they're in, they go through, you know, basic training and things like that. But as soon as they're in that, they get seconded to some kind of detachment outside the usual chain of command. So their own commanding officer wouldn't know that this individual is actually involved in their normal job in the military. Their commanding officer in their normal unit wouldn't know that this person is involved. What will happen is they'd just be sequestered at a certain time and taken away. And
right, a bit like
yeah, and they'd work for somebody completely different outside the normal structure of management.
Yeah, that happened to Aaron McCullum. He got interviewed by Project Camelot.
Yes.
He was.
I didn't find him terribly convincing, I must say.
You did find him very convincing?
No, I found him... no, he wasn't terribly convincing, unfortunately. He talked about the Stargate at Aden, but if you look at it, the things he was talking about are actually... they're simply breakwaters, the things he was talking about. They're much smaller than they look like, because, I mean, he says all these ships are moored alongside them, but these big warships, they're just fishing boats.
Oh, right.
Yeah,
I mean, a lot of the stuff we were talking about, you could have easily found yourself on Google. But...
yeah. I just think no, I didn't think much of that bloke.
Nice place.
Isn't it beautiful? Yeah.
Lovely, yeah.
It's lovely.
So,
Sorry, won't be a sec. Now, Michael Saller says that these people would have been taken on certain crash routes. Clifford Stone is an example he gives of a man who was part of one of these detachments.
was he then, as a young boy, you were taken in?
He was recruited essentially as a small child by a military officer who, for some reason, how they found him, I don't know. I mean, this is a question: how do they find these people? Knew that there was some kind of it was an information board. Knew that he had psychic abilities, and they select people for these crash retrieval operations because of their psychic abilities. We got an information board now. It should be helpful, I hope. Thieves would follow the forest code. Just leave wildlife alone. Dogs on the lead. Right, walking. Yeah. Woodland choice. This is the area where, see, we're here. There's the A60. This is a whole area here. This is all Thieves Wood. It's actually a very big area. Whether we'll have, I mean, I'm actually captured all this on my map. But feel free to pause and read, ladies and gentlemen. Consultation notice. I don't know what that's about. This is a bit strange. Right, that gentleman there, he didn't want to be interviewed, but we just had a very interesting conversation with that man and his dog. Men and his dog walking, usually on Cannock Chase, but other places, are very, very good sources of information. They make excellent witnesses. It's raining. It's raining, yeah. Now, he's just told me that he remembers the incident that's happened. He says lots of people around here remember what happened. Now we've just found out that Thieves Wood is slightly bigger than I thought it was, so we probably won't be able to get all the... Well, all we can do is really look at the areas which I've sort of highlighted on the map. But he's just talked about something called Fall Down Field, and it's called that. It's near Kirkby and Ashfield. Ashfield, yeah. And the reason he said that is because there was an incident. I mean, he's probably talking about the same incident actually, in which there was an explosion which caused all the animals to fall over and all people to fall over as well. So already I've got a picture in my head of a huge explosion. I mean, if you think about the area it covered, Mansfield, Hucknall, Ashfield, in that area. Dan, we're talking about something with a yield, explosion with a yield approaching nuclear. So it's almost like a nuclear explosion we're talking about. To cover 7-10 square miles. It's huge. Yeah. But that man's, what he said was very, very interesting. He says it is on the internet about Fall Down Field, so we're going to look that up as soon as we can. Obviously, I mean, this could be just, hopefully this will be the first in a series of investigations, because just the two of us don't have the resources to scour the whole area. And there's already another landing site we've got to look at before we finish for the day. But I'm just going to take a look at this object here, because I've just noticed this on the footpath. It's obviously, it's made of rock. It's a stone thing. It looks like it's been shaped.
Big stone.
Yeah, a megalith, literally a megalith. Yeah. It's a big stone.
To stand on the stone.
Yeah.
When you need him. Very dirty.
You can see. You look at Dan. Look at Dan's height. This gives you a sense of scale of how big it is.
This has been put here to stop vehicles, maybe.
Yeah, it may be. Yeah, it may be just a roadblock to block vehicles. But it looks. I mean, it's the same shape as the one that Dr. Jonathan Reed saw, the freezing black object that Dr. Jonathan Reed saw when he was in the woods like this, and he was in a similar place, and he saw this object. But it's probably just a stone. Unfortunately, I've had a look online and I can't find anything about fallen fields or what that man was referring to. However, it does appear that he knows something about it. He did say that people know about it. If we'd had the chance to ask more people, we would. In fact, me and Dan are going to have to go back there and maybe ask a few more people, knock on a few more doors. As you could see, the man wasn't keen to be interviewed, but he did confirm the event had taken place and that he knew about it. It seems a lot of people know about it. As he was saying, they were shoveling snow into baths, the lights went out, water went off. It was a big explosion. Like I said, nuclear in proportions. Obviously, it's stuck in people's memories an awful lot. So nothing about fallen fields, but still he knows about this event. Okay, we're in a bit of a strange situation now, because we've come across a fork in the roads that's not marked on the map. And we've not moved far from here, but there is a fork in the road. And it seems that we've taken the right-hand path, because it's best to bear to the right to get to all this interesting stuff around here. But there's no actual... It's hard to say exactly... It's hard to say exactly whether we're on the right track now. We may be lost. Sorry about that, but it could... Does this mean that Google Earth has been tampered with? Hey, Dan. It's possible that Google Earth has been tampered with.
You never know.
To lead people off track who are coming around here. Because, I mean, there is censorship on Google Earth, there's no doubt about it. I've seen things on Google Earth that are censored. Now, there's another forestry track there. Okay, going to keep looking. Hopefully we'll see something interesting soon. Okay, fellas, we're completely lost. There's this field here, as you see. We think maybe that field there, but for some reason this field has these little white clumps all over it. I don't know if there's any farmers watching this who can enlighten us on what exactly that is. I thought it was sheep, but they're standing in a line. I think they may be haystacks, I'm not sure. But we're looking basically for this big, wide, felled swathe. It's like pathway that's been cut through the wood, which is very wide. You can see how wide it is on this map. That's too wide, I think. forestry paths. We've seen a few forestry paths, and they are narrower than that. This is what you would need if you wanted to drag a large object from something very, very big through the woods to the road. So I mean, we're a bit lost at the moment exactly where we are, Dan. This is awkward, isn't it? Because the map we've been given doesn't match the roads we've seen, which is frustrating. At the moment we're hunting towards our right. Somewhere on our right we should see this massive cut out swathe of wood. Just keep going. Which way should we go now, Dan? This is this way, and there's that way, and that's westwards. That's north.
Would you say?
I've got no idea. See, this map, what we've seen doesn't match the map. The fork in the road we followed doesn't match what's on this map. So this is getting a bit daft. Oh, I don't know. Well, look, there's this.
That's one of the fields.
I got a feeling that field might be this one because it's got that brown patch there, over there. And there's that brown bit there, so I've got a feeling this is the field.
That is it. I'm pretty sure.
Yeah. So we're basically looking for something to our right, a big cut out. Should we go that way?
I think we should have a look.
Yeah, it may open out. We'll see the big cut out area, which I just pointed to you on the map, which looks like it may have been used to drag a large object from the forest into the road, so it could be moved. Although it's just a footpath. I mean, everything could have changed. We're talking almost 26 years now.
Yeah.
We're almost at the anniversary, almost at the 26th anniversary, actually.
26 years old, this could have grown.
Well, yeah, these are much younger than 26 years. I mean, look at them. They're small pine trees or some kind of tree. Scott Felton, if you're watching this, tell us what these trees are, will you?
Right, Sue.
Tell us what these trees are. Now, we've got bracken here. These trees are new. So these trees might not have been here. Even a couple of years. These are only a couple of years old, at the most. So, see, these are small trees. So it's possible it's been planted over. If you see some bigger trees through the gap, then that could be a sign. Because forests change in time, you see. Forests change over periods of time. Right, there's something down. There's something through the trees there. There's an open space through the trees. What is that?
See that damaged tree?
Yeah, what the hell is this here? This is it. How do we get to it? I think we found the open space we were talking about.
Oh, wow.
That open swathe of. Now these are very new ones here, but there's a fence. There's a damaged tree there, a much older damaged tree. Don't know if you can see that there. There's a much older damaged tree. The question is, can we get to look at it more closely? So what this is, I'll show you on the map. What I suspect this is that big long line of felled trees. You saw it in a tree stump?
Yeah, just there.
Nice one, mate, nice one. That big long line of felled trees, I suspect, is what we're looking at now, but it seems to have been planted over by newer trees, and there's a fence here. I don't know if we're going to get to it. That's the problem. Where's the stump? I don't have Wellingtons. That's the problem. Oh, ow! There's a stump. Yep. Oh. I'm going to try and get to it. Look. All right. If I fall over now, you've got a big laugh because it's a Panmo TV joke exclusive. Oh! Oh! Ow! Oh! Yeah, just stop cafe. Well, I made it, her Panmo TV viewers. As you can see, these are oaks. That's an oak tree, a little baby oak tree, sweet little thing. And there's a stump. There's some tree stumps here. This is the area I'm talking about. I think it's obviously been planted over since that Google Earth photo was taken. These are brand new little trees now. So there's some stumps. We can count the rings. Here we are. Right. Oh. This will tell you how old this tree is here. Right, here we are. This is, of course, a tried and tested way of measuring the age of trees. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20, 21, 22. It's much older.
Yeah.
I can't see 22, 23, 24, 25, 26. That's where it would have been when this event happened. 27, 28, 29. This definitely predates the incident. 30, 31, 32, 33, 34, 35, 36, 37, 38, 39, 40, 41, 42, 43, 44, 45, 46, 47, 48, 49, 50, 51, 52, 53, 54, 55, 56, 57, 58, 59, 60, 61, 62, 63, 64. This tree was 64 years old when it was felled. It's an old man. Oh, look. Is that one of those false widow spiders?
Wow.
Yeah. I think that's one of those false widow things. Oh, it's come to bite me. I'll make sure it doesn't bite me. Oof. Oh. Although I don't believe the hype of those spiders. Those spiders are as harmless as wasps. People get allergic reactions, that's the thing.
Yeah.
There's a lot of hype in the media about that at the moment.
Tree's,
Now, that tree, the tree I've just seen, this trunk, I think it's likely, it's safe to presume that this tree was felled and grew in this area. This is a forestry location, and it's safe to assume this tree was felled here.
yeah.
The thing about it is, this predates the incident that happened. It may have been cut down. Yeah, see if we get another. There's some more. We can maybe count another one, see if it's the same sort of age. But these others are just saplings. They're just little saplings. So these are new trees. Probably in the years to come, these will be as big as these big. See, there's big trees behind us.
Yeah, we're surrounded by big trees.
So where we are,
And this opening's been fenced off.
yeah, it's been fenced. We had to climb over the fence to get. There we are, Dan. We're there on the map. See?
Oh yeah.
And this big swathe. It's obviously these have been planted. Probably I say since this photo was taken, because there's nothing at all on the photo. So this was open space originally. And there's an old tree. Looks like it's been burnt. I don't know if it's been burnt or felled or what. That, I think we should get closer to that and see if we can
So yeah.
see if there's any signs of burning. You all right, Sue?
We're not going far, Sue. We're just gonna have a look.
We're going to have a look. Yeah, we'll look at the tree. It looks like it's been burnt. If we can get through to it. There's no path, unfortunately, so we've got to pick our way carefully between these saplings. Ooh. This ground is very uneven. Oh, it's easy to fall over, mate, so take care. The ground looks like it's been sort of like ploughed over or something. There's lots of hummocks and clumps. Ooh. Don't trip over that thing there. So, we're here. Ooh. That log there is loose. Sorry, little. I've got to push. Oh, there's some thorns here. Kick down those thorns.
Why would they cut a load of trees down?
Yeah, and they cut them. Well, of course, that's what forestry do. But the thing is, they cut them in this particular area, and we've come across stumps of trees that were felled actually when that incident happened. Oh, bloody heck! It's going to be hard to get to. Oh, lots of thorns. I'm going to stop filming for a minute because. Okay, we made it. So yeah, yeah. This is our third member of the team. It was his little Mason. 61 Shirley Jr. Now this tree stump here is just sitting out in the middle of these smaller trees. It's obviously not been felled like the other trees have. There are marks all over it. It could be, I don't know, woodpeckers. Could be worm. There's some blackness on it which could indicate burning. I don't know if there's any tree experts watching this, if they could help us out.
The top doesn't, it looks like it's been snapped.
Yeah.
The whole tree.
The things, it's possible lightning strike or something else. Yeah. But judging by the size of it, and based on, you know, the width of the trunk and also the stump that I just counted, it looks to me like this is roughly the same age. So we're talking 60 years or so, which means this was here when the incident in 1987 happened, this tree was here. It was only about half the size of it was now, but it was still here. So whatever happened here, this tree would have been affected. So we have a sign here that maybe this is a tree that might have been affected by the incident that happened. Okay, so see, there's just these little holes bored into it. If you worm, woodpecker, or maybe something else. We don't know. Don't know, mate. Anyway, that was interesting. Okay, there's another shot of the tree now. This is what we were looking at. It's obvious this has not been cut with a saw. It's been snapped by something. Whether it's fire, whether it's burnt by fire, whether it's struck by an object, it's definitely crash. I mean, this is interesting, Dan, because in the Kecksburg incident in Pennsylvania in 1965, which was another crash retrieval, the Pennsylvania Roswell, as it's sometimes called, you had an object crashing in the middle of the woods, and you can go back there today, you can still see the dead trees. We were asking how long would it take a tree to rot, and it may take a long time.
Yeah.
Because it's just a wooden post, basically.
I mean, if I was working for the military and I wanted to know the spot, I'd leave a tree like that standing.
That's a good point, yes. Maybe it marks it out for something. It's an important question. Okay, so well, now what we're going to do is we're going to head back to the car and go to the second of the areas where there was supposedly a crash, which is Annesley Hall, which is just a few miles from here. But as you can see, this covered a vast area. We're talking about, like I said, a massive explosion, a massive electromagnetic pulse, to the point where it actually fried the electrics. The man we spoke to in the woods with his dog, who wouldn't be filmed on camera, actually said that bulbs, you know, the water was off, the electric was off. There was a major infrastructure shutdown here due to this not just the explosion, but the electromagnetic pulse.
I mean, I remember like 3 or 4 days power being out.
Yeah.
Everybody on the street were filling the bath up full of snow.
Blimey, yeah. This is just, Dan has lived in this area for a while. You've lived here all your life?
Yeah, around this area all my life, yeah.
Yeah, so this is amazing. So people like the man we spoke to has also lived around here all his life.
Everybody remembers it. When I talk about it to people from that time, they always say, oh yeah, I remember.
Yeah.
I remember where power were at.
Because he's got the same accent as you, that man. I thought you were a Yorkshireman at first because you sound different from the people in Nottingham, but apparently there's an accent boundary before then. But anyway, yeah. Sue's come in. She's come in. Now, so yeah, we're talking. What we could be looking at. Do you think it's possible it was some kind of a nuclear detonation?
I've got no idea.
Yeah.
Honest to God, there's strange lights in the sky. We know that for sure. Military, we know that for sure. They were called here. Helicopters. According to that guy, there was something that knocked all the cattle down, knocked them over. They didn't die, but they was knocked over. Yeah, I was wondering because also, if it was a small nuclear detonation, the military wouldn't have come in and sealed off certain areas, I wouldn't have thought. I mean, it could have been two craft colliding.
Yeah, you'd also have had heat effects. You'd have had lots of burning, and not just of. You'd see flash burning of houses, of roads.
You can imagine also the type of technology that they've got in craft. That if two craft collide, you could expect some kind of nuclear explosion. Yeah,
it's possible, or some kind of effect. I mean, we don't know how these objects are propelled or propulsed. And what kind of power plants they have, but it's obvious they're not on Texaco Unleaded 4 style, that's for certain. Yeah. It is esoteric propulsion systems and power plants of some kind. But so I mean, it's a nuclear detonation would have created different effects, and you wouldn't have had the military sealing off certain small areas. You might get sort of presence in the area at large, which covers all of sort of like northern Nottinghamshire, really. We're talking about Mansfield, Hucknall, that area. It's a huge area.
And because at that time the storms were so bad, they were renowned at that time. Everybody can remember how bad storms were. I can't see military doing much testing in such bad weather.
Well, that's an interesting point, because the weather was very bad. You talk about people filling their baths with snow, so it was cold at that time.
Yeah, it was snowing.
It was snow, it was cold.
And it was November.
And there was a thunderstorm in progress. This is why everyone thought it was a lightning bolt, because there was a thunderstorm in progress at the time. So my camera's getting wet. Camera's getting wet. I'll stop filming because the camera's getting wet. I tried knocking on the door of someone's house. They've got these lovely big houses along this road. No one was in. We had a dog barking, but no one was in.
No.
But we hope we would ask people about what they remembered. I wasn't going to mention UFOs. I would just say something like, hello there, I'm with Panwo TV. We're investigating a strange incident that happened in November 1987. It involved, I wonder if you were there at the time and remembered it, or if you know anyone who was. It involved, I wasn't going to say UFO, I'd say it involved, and they say, what's it about? I'd have said, it involved people seeing strange lights in the sky, strange objects in the sky, and there was a large explosion, a large massive amounts of electromagnetic effects. See, so that's what I was said. And they could either have replied or said no, or slammed the door in my face, whatever. But we tried anyway. There's no one in. There's two houses along here. One of them doesn't look very friendly, does it, Dan?
No.
Because the postman turned up and this woman shouted at him, and she had to ring a doorbell by the gate, and she came out, and I heard her shouting at him. The other one's got a lovely big garden, and we just went and knocked on the door, and there was no reply. So there was a dog in there, but no humans. And the dog wouldn't be able to help us much, I don't think. Right, we've just left Thieves Wood. We're heading for Annesley Hall now, which you can see on the map is around there. We're there, heading southeast on the A60. Now, Dan tells me that Thieves Wood has a bit of a reputation. Is that right, Dan? What's the actual reputation?
Certainly does. There was, it's where all the gays would go and meet.
Oh!
It was one of the only places they could go before there was gay nightclubs and things.
Well, now we know where to go to ask people questions. We go to we go to see
G1 in Nottingham.
the Jolly Farmers or something, and say, maybe some of them will remember, you see.
Yeah.
You can just imagine it, someone goes, oh, you wouldn't believe it, Basil and I were taking in the night sky, walking hand in hand under the stars. You wouldn't believe what we saw, dear. There's this strange, saucer-shaped object in the sky. Oh, it was absolutely lovely. Like a proper, wonderful opera. Well, this is, that's it. That's true, isn't it?
Yeah.
So, maybe if we can ask if there's any gay bars and things around here, maybe they'll know about it, because probably it has a kind of reputation that's succeeded its usefulness. Phil Porter's Pride and Dignity, Stop the New World Order. Welcome to Panwo TV. Dan and I have now come to Annesley Hall, and this is it. As you can see, it's derelict. It's a bit of a surprise. It's just, I don't know how much you can see of that. It's derelict, yeah. But look at this. This is a very interesting symbol here. On the gate posts have a double Illuminati pyramid there, symbolising the elite of the elite. The inner circle, the Council of 13, whatever you call them. And did you notice? I'm sorry we didn't film this, but where we parked the car just outside Thieves Wood, they got the same symbols on top of the gate post.
Yeah. And at Newstead Abbey, they've got the same ones.
Isn't that amazing? And I wonder what that's about. Yeah, it's all boarded up, you see, so you can't get in. But we're going to have a little stroll up here, see what we find. As you see here, it's All Saints Church. Right, feel free to pause and read. I'm not going to stop and read all this. Annesley Hall, here we go. Original and medieval aisle hall through the dates of the 13th century. Part of the Chayworth estates from 1442, home of the Chayworth and Chayworth Munster families. Now, have a look at this, Dan. Where are we then? We're Annesley Hall 6. We're there. So it's somewhere in this area, supposedly, where one of the objects came down.
Yeah. Come on, Mason.
It's a good question.
Let's have a walk up and see if we can have a look what's around it.
Yeah, but according to the article, it came down, whether it's a fragment or whether it was an object or craft, it came down in a private area, so which made investigation difficult. That's what it said.
Alright.
All right, Mason. There's an old graveyard here.
Can I have that then?
I think it's somewhere up here. We're on the right track. We're going out through an old graveyard. And oh, there's a signboard here as well. Some of these graves are quite new. Look at this slate one here. That's quite new. Well, fairly new.
Oh, that gravestone. Have you seen that gravestone on that video I did?
I can't remember. Sorry, mate, I do watch your videos.
It's got an Illuminati pyramid on it with a skull and crossbones.
Oh, wow.
Whoever's gravestone it was hated the Illuminati.
Yeah, send it us. That's it. All Saints Church. Here we are. Annesley Old Church. Feel free to pause and read. Look at that, Dracula. Spoof Dracula production. I think that's a spoof.
Yeah.
1963, yeah. There's Colic Hall, Wiverton Hall. And they were explorers apparently, these people. Travels in Patagonia. Oh yes, indeed. Right. What's that building there?
I think they do tours around here.
Is it Annesley Hall?
Ghosts,
Right.
things like that, strange goings on.
It doesn't look like we might have to go on a tour to actually maybe find out more about this. But there's some ground with some woods. What's that covered over there? There's like is that a covering?
I don't know, it could be, or it could be stones.
Yeah, it could be gravel, pile of gravel or something.
Some sort of lime for
Yeah.
fertiliser.
Wonder what it's covering up. Could be, yeah.
Look at that gravestone, never seen one like that.
That's an odd one, isn't it? Yeah.
You alright? Come on
Just
then.
going to have a go and look at this strange gravestone. Well, assumingly it's a gravestone. But this is Annesley Hall here, and as you see, parts of it are derelict. That's... is that Annesley Hall, this bit here? Because that's...
Yeah.
That looks kind of... Well, there is... Is that... 'Cause some of the windows are out, look.
Yeah.
There's a clock there which is not working, because obviously it says it's 7:20, which is not. This is weird, isn't it? Look. You ever seen anything like this? I can't read that. Something which is worth must. Lieutenant New Staples, age 28. Philip M. Chatworth. Oh, thank you. Oh, thank you, darling. Oh, thank you. I can't read that, but it's obviously a memorial of some kind.
Yeah, there were anchor. Yeah.
Maybe. Well, I saw lieutenant, so maybe it's someone in the Navy. Yeah. That's a very unusual. That's a very unusual tombstone, anyway. Don't often see them. Okay. Yeah, there's writing on all four corners of the. Maybe it's some kind of sea disaster, a sinking or something.
See, a lot of these are going to go to waste and lost in time.
Yeah. I'm gonna have a look in here. Okay, I'm going into All Saints Church now, which is this place. This is obviously once a. Yeah, it's all this sexual symbolism. There may well have once been a tower here. But here's, look, All Saints Church, very old. So this was once a church, which is now ruined. It's like Coventry Cathedral. Remember my video at Coventry Cathedral? Right, here's the remains of Annesley Hall. Now, Dan, I don't think we're going to find what we're looking for because there's no. We need to pin down more precisely exactly where this object is supposed to have landed.
Yeah.
As you can see, here's the grounds, what it used to be.
I mean, the only thing I can think of is all those fields and trees.
Maybe
behind
somewhere
there.
around
If
there,
something
yeah.
happened over there, they'd say, oh, it went near Annesley Hall,
Yeah.
I imagine.
There's this strange pile of. There's a strange pile of something or covering.
Yeah.
This could be one of several things. Oh, the door's open. That's just where we came from. So we're gonna leave it there, I think, because there's nothing more we can find out here. All right. Here's the Wikipedia page for Annesley Hall. It doesn't give any information really that we haven't seen, except it does mention that it was featured in Most Haunted in 2007 because it is considered to be an extremely haunted place. So as you can see, as we've seen, it's derelict. Just going to have a look at it from the air now, because really visiting it was fine, but we really need to be able to. We need to know more about it to be able to do a proper search. We don't know where this object, whatever it was, crashed. No, so I'll just go to. There we go. Go to satellite. Satellite, please. There we go. Now I think this is where we were. Oh, blimey, is this big industrial estate there? Where's the actual Annesley Hall? It's mentioned here. I think here we are, right, let's have a look. There's all these woods here. And here here's the ruined building. And everything else I think is under those trees. You can't see it very clearly. But there's more ruined buildings under the trees there, and I think that's where it is. Let's see if that's... Let's just go and see, because we won't be able to get a street view of the house, but I'll just get a street view here and see what we get. There it is. What we have here, let's have a look. Is that the ruined church? Yes, it is. So we're in the right place. It's somewhere in this area, but let's have a look at the fields around here. There is markings on the field of one sort or another. Nothing to indicate anything came down there as far as I can see, just there's some markings. There's these radial markings here. These are very often the sites of ancient buildings and things like that often appear in the field like this. What's that there? There's like a area of wasteland there. I don't know if that's got anything to do with it. It's impossible to see. But it wasn't what we saw from that. Wasn't what we saw from the house. What I saw from the house was in this direction. And it was, if you see, we were looking. We were standing out there, looking across from there. This is the bit you saw us. That's where the bit I was filming. And the big patch I pointed out, which looked like something covering. Dan thought it was maybe a pile of lime for fertilizer or a pile of gravel. Was there, just where the cursor is there. So nothing so far on the aerial photograph that gives us any clues. There's thick forests here. There's somebody's garden. It's all a bit uncertain. In the grounds of Annesley Hall, it's just not a lot there. We can see. No. Oh, this requires further study, I think, before we can know more about what's going on here. Yeah. Look at that. Now, this is a strange thing. We spotted this earlier. Now I'm going to spot it again. It's a tower. I don't know how tall that is, but it's pretty tall, and it's got what's it for, I don't know. But what's strange is that Richard D. Hall, if you go to richplanet.tv.net and watch this on the Rich Planet TV, when he went up to Lincolnshire, to investigate the Lincolnshire Triangle, the UFO flap there, he found out that there was a similar sort of tower, and it was actually owned by the RAF, and they used it for observation. It was just basically a steel frame construction, like a pylon, with observation platforms. It was about 300 feet high, and this one's a bit shorter than that, but it's still pretty tall. And no one at the RAF scene would tell him what it was for, what was there to observe. So I wonder, what's that there for? Now, I suspect it's not an observation platform. It seems to have some structures on it that look like satellite dishes, and a couple of like cellular transmitters. So it's probably more something in that area. But I can't help wondering, UFO events and watchtowers connection, I think. Okay, I just thought I'd take you through a few of these witness statements from Nottingham. Here we go. Silver saucers, men in black, motherships, flashing lights. Right, that's an encouraging sighting. This is Mavis from Arnold. which is, I think, somewhere just north of Nottingham. Oh, it's talking about from the 60s here. Nothing from Mike from Hucknall. Ruth in Stableford, 1970, 1979. Pat in Southwell. Just trying to look, see if there's any here from 1987. There doesn't seem to be. 1954, 1950, 1997. Nothing on the BBC at all. BBC Nottingham, nothing at all about the event I'm referring to. There's a page on UFOs, but it doesn't refer to the 1987 case. So what happens now? Well, we've had a good day out. We've done a lot of exploring. We've picked up what hopefully will be some useful information, maybe evidence of something untoward going on in November of 1987, but we need more information. This is just a preliminary study. This is just two guys going around the countryside in their Wellington boots, or not in my case, and getting wet and muddy and finding out a few things. We need your help. If you live in the area affected by this event in 1987 and you have some information you feel we should know, please contact me privately in the strictest of confidence. I promise you that any information you give me, you will have complete control over about how it's published and how it is distributed. I just want to know more about what went on. So if you live in the area affected, please contact me. Well, thank you for watching this Nottinghamshire Roswell investigation by Herpanwo TV. Hospital porters, pride and dignity, stop the New World Order.